So, I don't know if you've seen the movie. Okay, that's a great movie. I love that picture too, by the way. So, all quiet on the Western Front, your first 100 days as a CISO. My name is Djoka, as you can tell or imagine. I'm from Albanian origin. I'm also known as Jim Djoka because, they have some difficulties pronouncing that name in Belgium for some reason. So feel free to send me an email. You have my reference there, or hit me up on LinkedIn if you want to. The views I'm expressing here are my own. Okay. And the image credits goes to their owners. We are not going to discuss a lot about information security, to be honest, but more about the role. We've been discussing here, I think, during the morning and perhaps also later in the afternoon about how to try to break things or how to get inside things. But from the other perspective, on the defending aspect, you would have one person sitting on the top of the food chain trying to organize all this. So we're going to talk about that person a little bit. What are the skill set that person would need to perform a great job? And, some advices or some pitfalls you may want to avoid. So I'm putting in here my experience. I have like 20 years of experience in cybersecurity, 10 or 11 as a CISO. But again, that's not my customer's view, that's mine. So yeah, you're up for it. You want that job. You want to be head of security. You probably have already some experience in cybersecurity, and you need some skills to get there and to do a good job. So what are those skills? You don't see some information security skill or pen testing skills here. I'll focus on the rest. So first of all, business skills. Why business skills? I mean, usually we talk about tooling, scanning, this and that. Well, if information security is about protecting confidentiality, integrity, and availability of information or assets, you may want to first go and protect what is of value to the company. So first of all, you need to understand what is of value. What is the value chain of a company in general? So how do you identify it? And how do you work with that information? How profit is generated? So this isn't necessarily taught at the university, especially if you've been learning IT. What are the market trends? And also, when you are dealing with a specific business, try to anticipate what's coming. Try to anticipate what is the effect of IT changes on the cybersecurity landscape. Because cybersecurity initially was seen as a cost. So what is the return on investment of a firewall? That would be the question you would get like 10, 15 years ago. Again, firewalls? No, we don't have enough. No, you want more. So that was seen as a cost. Then there were some successful attacks, and getting budget was a lot more easier. And then cybersecurity was seen then as a differentiator. How do you differentiate from the other companies doing the same business? Well, cybersecurity can help you with that. And now it's just an essential components of any service. So you can't discuss with that. That's your business skills. Then that's the main one. The one on the bottom, social, soft, interpersonal skills. People management skills. You need them to manage your team. You need them to manage your management as well. So looking down on your team, you have to try to be in their shoes, but also looking up to your management. You also, have to manage them in some way. Do they understand cybersecurity? Do you have to, taught them a little bit what it is about? Then you're looking sideways, left and right, the other division within your company. How do you handle the relationship with them? Most probably, there are chances they won't like you from the start, so you may want to fix that as well. You will have also to manage suppliers, your own suppliers, as a security provider, but also the other suppliers of the company. So that's also a totally different relationship. And then, usually something which is not told when you sign for that type of position, you have to manage customers. Okay, they may have questions before signing the contract, but you also have to deal with their audits. You may have audit clause allowing them to audit you. You have external auditors and regulators if you are working on a heavily regulating market. that's a lot of audits to deal with. And for some reason, I don't know why, but they tend to go to cybersecurity to manage the relationship with those auditors. Probably because you're in an ideal spot between the management and IT in general. Last but not least, manage yourself. You are your key asset, your best asset. You need to manage yourself. Listen to yourself. Are you happy? This is something you need to do as well. Okay. Analytical skills. Well, we went through, on the previous presentation, a lot of specific concepts. You don't need to know, in my opinion, all the bits and pieces, all the details, but you need at least to know how things work, especially in an ever-changing environment, an ever-changing landscape. So you need to understand those concepts. Usually there are many concepts you need to understand. You can go from identity and access management, vulnerability management, and whatever. So all these have their specifics, and you need to take decision based on that. Which direction will you want to take? So yeah, and keeping your head cool and take decisions. Yeah, that's, of course, a decisive part. Then communication skill. Mm-hmm. Yeah?
As a CISO myself, one of the hardest skills. As a CISO myself, one of the hardest skills that probably does fall into that analytical skills is quantify risk to the management. That is the hardest thing, trying to explain to business people the risk, and they always talk in dollars and euros, and they never talk about RAM, databases, vulnerability. They don't understand none of that. So the hardest thing is trying to tell them how much money they're going to lose. And probably the second, which you have put it in here, is trying to keep a balance between security and operational effectiveness. Just my 2 cents. Great presentation so far.
Thank you. I would tend to agree with you. And this is why the next point comes there, communication skills. So how do you convey that message? How do you manage to explain, well, as you said, risk management? Okay. Again, it may be seen as a cost, and we'll come back to risk management later. So yeah, communication towards your management, but also towards your other stakeholders. And well, indeed, when you communicate, especially towards your management, you will communicate indeed on risk, on problems you come across, but also on achievements. We tend to forget that. We tend to do, well, we have a problem. We have an incident. We have an outage. You also need to show to them, well, we didn't have an outage last week because we blocked so many tentatives. So this also must be communicated towards your management and put forward. And of course, technical skills, I said, nice to have. Okay. I've seen people, CISOs, having great careers without even having a technical background. You can have sportsmen now being put as a CISO position because they have the right mindset. They thrive for excellence. Sometimes this is more important than knowing how you configure a server. So you have the skills, or at least you know on which you have to work on. I haven't mentioned here information security. You can have various security certifications, CISM, CISSP. All those are good, but focus on these skills, I would say. So now, okay, you're looking on the market for a CISO position. You have found one. What do you need to do first? Well, first do your due diligence. Well, this is a basic part of it. You would say you have to do this for every position you would try to get, but at least do it in a very specific way. What is the cybersecurity organization already in that company? And you could even ask, but we'll come back to that later. Where is the CISO right now? Is he still there? Is he in a mental institution? This is a question worth asking. So, yeah, what is the profile of that company? Is it public, private? Is it profitable? You may want, to get 10 extra resources. If the company is not making money, you won't get those resources. What is their existing maturity? So at least you know where you're going. So try to find someone working in that company. Go get a coffee with that person. Ask a few questions. Do they still have Windows Server 2003? Things like this will give you a bit of an indication or where you're going into. And is there any high visibility incidents? That's also, it gives you an idea of where you're going. Of course, cybersecurity incidents, depending on the country you are living in, that has to be made public. But, well, outages, usually they don't need to make that public. The public knows. So you've made your due diligence. You have your interviews with HR. So a few orange or red flags in here as well. What happened to the previous CISO? As a question. So is it a new position? There were no CISO before? Well, that's great. Gives you an indication there as well of the maturity level. Otherwise, ask where he is, why he left, why he's been sacked. Did you learn something out of it? Because it's hardly usually one person's fault when you have this sort of situation. Second part, another red flag, lowball offer. So you are competing for a position. They tell you, this is what we are proposing you. This is the package, and it's super low. They are not serious. Don't waste your time. Just leave. And also, one thing that I've heard here and there was an audit. Okay, so, why am I here? Am I here just to fill a gap in an audit recommendation, or there's total chaos, total mayhem, and I will need to fix that? This is a good indication as well. Another point, you never necessarily think about it, the org chart. To whom will you report? To the CEO? Okay. Does he know anything about cybersecurity? To the CIO? Okay. He may know something about security. That's good. To the CTO? Well, is it security manager, or is it the top ranking guy, the CISO position you are being proposed? So you went through HR. You have a proposal. What you do? You have two possibilities. So if the job is offered to you, you can say no. Sometimes it's better to say no. It's not because it's a CISO position. You're dreaming of that sort of position. Sometimes when the situation is just bad, just say no. It's better for you, believe me. Otherwise, say yes. And then the fun starts. So you get the job, you start, you have 100 days, usually to make an impact. Otherwise, people won't notice you. You're just doing the same thing. It's more of the same, basically. So what do you do for these 100 days? Well, make a plan. You check where you are, or where is the company right now in terms of security? Where do you want to go? Terms here are different. Where do you want to go? Where do you want to lead security? And then transformation. How to get from A to B. So where do we stand? You have 4 questions. I've taken this from, I think, the C-Risk book. This is gold. First of all, are we doing the right things? Do you cover with the right security services what you are supposed to do? Then, are we doing them the right way? Are these security services designed the right way? This is all about design in there. And then you look at performance. Are we getting them done well? What is the performance? Check the indicators. And then based on that, are we seeing expected benefits? This is where you have to really put some focus, because if the performance is not where it is, it means the performance is not to the expected level, let's say. This is where you need to look into. So this is the initial situation. Where do you want to go? Well, look at what the company is trying to do first. What are the business goals of that company, and adjust to that. And based on that, put yourself on a new organizational model. How are you going to organize these security services? What is it you propose to the company? And also, draw a line. Draw a line on security operations. I will take 2 examples, 2 extreme examples. You have the example where you do only risk management. I don't care about the rest. I do risk management. I perform assessments. I do reports. I go check the different indicators coming from the internal service providers. Look at the KPIs. Am I happy? Good. Am I not happy? Well, you just go take your whip and start hitting people. That's a possibility. That's one extreme. The other extreme is, okay, I have a lot of skills within the team. I will do the services myself, or my division will do the services. Well, that's good. Okay, you could say you have the skills. You do your own vulnerability scanning. You do the management of the patching with it, if you want to. Again, the same for identity and access management. But if you are going into that extreme, it means you need skills in cybersecurity and also in IT. Chances are you already have those skills inside the company. So that would mean having twice the same set of skills. it's probably not the best way to. So you have to draw the line somewhere and hold that line, because this is where the fun begins. So you know where you are, you know where you want to go, and then you have to prepare this transformation. How do you go from A to B? Make a plan. Do you have the right resources? When you have a resource gap, what is it you do? Do you hire new people? Do you try to get some temporarily help from the outside? This is the plan you need to make. Then you define your transformation plan with the associated timing and get the budget. I say obtain. I didn't say request the budget. You have to get the budget, sorry. So, well, that was it. That was really easy. Now you're good for a steady, simple ride. So I give you a couple of tips to end the presentation, just so you have an easy ride afterwards. So first of all, get a good picture of the company culture and subcultures, because you may have a company coming across different countries. You will have local subcultures. You need to adjust to that. Figure out business priorities and how to enable them. You will be a star. If you help the business getting their achievements good, you will be a star. Find your business sponsor. This is associated to the previous point. Get success stories quick. Find the low-hanging fruits, good stories, so that people see that you are doing a good job. It was quite a grim presentation initially. I tried to make it a little bit lighter, but it is a very demanding job, but also very rewarding. We have a lot of war stories to discuss afterwards, so enjoy it. Last but not least, as I briefly mentioned it before, you are the most important asset. Without you, it doesn't work. So treat yourself accordingly. And that's it.